I know if there's anything going on, like, you guys could probably figure it out.
You feel it?
The Pierce Arrow Complex was built in late 1906 at 1695 Elmwood Avenue on the northwest corner of the site of the Pan American Exposition. Pierce Arrow motor cars were marketed as much more than a car. They were symbols of wealth and status. In 1909, President Howard Taft requested 2 Pierce Arrows to serve as official cars of the White House. Pierce Arrows served as presidential vehicles from Taft to Roosevelt. Foreign royals, diplomats, and business tycoons, including John D. Rockefeller, and even aviation pioneer Orville Wright and Hall of Fame baseball player Babe Ruth also had Pierce Arrows in their personal car collections. In 1928, Pierce Arrow was bought by Studebaker. Studebaker went bankrupt in 1933 and sold the Pierce Arrow complex to Buffalo Management. The factory still stands today and is occupied by several businesses. Recently, members at the Pierce Arrow Film and Arts Center are experiencing what they believe is paranormal activity. We met with one of the Film Center's members, Chris, to fill us in on what's been going on.
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
Hey, Cam, Dan.
Yep.
Nice to meet you guys. This is the Pierce Arrow Motor Car Company. Well, it was back in the early 1900s, like one of the first luxury cars. This whole complex, we have dozens of tenants, and we are a film arts center, but we have some people who even live here. And one of the gentlemen sets up cameras and sees things constantly. We've had artists who work late into the night. They see all kinds of stuff. I mean, I've seen a couple things personally. I know a few of my partners have too, but you know, we've seen the show, and we want you to come in and see if there's anything that holds weight here.
Absolutely. Well, that's our goal. We want to see what we can do to back up what you guys are experiencing. I mean, the big thing for us is that you guys are film-educated people. I mean, you guys work with recording equipment constantly, taking pictures constantly, and this is something you do for a living. So this is when you guys get pictures that you can't explain or see things on video that you can't explain, it's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's movie magic, and then there's the stuff we need to bring you guys in for.
Okay. Well, let's get up in here and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. So this is the Pierce Arrow Film Arts Center. Welcome. We are using this space. As you can see, we have the giant green screen. We have a New York certified sound stage. We want to make film as accessible to everybody as possible. So the big budgets that have $20 million, or the people that have $20 in their pocket, we want them to have the equal opportunity to make film. And that is what we do here. We have our sound stage, we have our sets, constructions, we have complete in-house lighting, sound, and we also throw events here. And then, well, we have things like this.
Let's you mind giving us a walk through the location, tell us where things have been going awry, and maybe some things that have happened to you.
Yeah, well, let's take a look.
Okay.
This is our largest room for the Film Arts Center, but really, the Pierce Arrow Motor Car Company is a gigantic complex. It stretches from Elmwood Avenue all the way to almost like Delaware, and then Great Arrow here all the way down to the belt line of the train tracks. And there are assembly buildings. We're in the administration building right now. There are showrooms. We have factories, smokestacks. It's a gigantic, enormous facility.
What was this building used for? This is huge in here.
This was actually the administration building. During the day, this room was the dining hall, the cafeteria and the dining hall for the workers. But at night, they turned it into a private showroom for wealthy buyers. So they'd actually take cars, and there used to be a little bridge that they'd bring them private tunnel over into this area, and then they'd have under each one of these lights shining down a Pierce
When you say
Arrow
wealthy
car.
people, these are like sultans,
Yeah.
presidents of the United States.
Yeah.
Pierce Arrow, I mean, just if the viewer doesn't know, I mean, this was the luxury automobile of the early 1900s. This was the prime automobile.
It made a Rolls Royce look like a Nissan Sentra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have 3 presidents that owned it. Babe Ruth owned one. This was the car for the rich and the famous. So
Exactly.
when you say wealthy people, this was the elite of the elite.
Yeah. So in order to get a ticket to this showroom, you had to have some money.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So how long have you guys had access to this building?
Well, the Pierce Arrow Film Arts Center has been around since 2011.
Okay.
And we've just been building as we go along. We've had tenants in here for decades, though. Actually, Rick James used to have one of his rehearsal studios in the back that we'll show you in
Wow.
a minute. Yeah. But yeah, just about.
Have you picked up anything paranormal in this area, or?
Yeah, actually, a lot of our team members have. John, who you talked to a little later, has seen things himself. I've seen a few things, but more than anything else, we catch it on our security cameras, and those are going on a live feed. So at 11 o'clock at night when nothing's going on and you see orbs of light walking around or floating around the building, it's kind of hard to ignore. And in the hallways and everything like that, you just, more than just feelings, you see presences. And in this space, most certainly, it makes itself known.
Okay. We'll definitely focus
Yeah,
on
we'll
this area.
focus on that.
Okay. Where are we going next?
Let's check out the Rick James room, as we call it. Well, the part of the building that we're about to enter right now is actually Rick James's old rehearsal studio, and he was here in the '80s, and as we know, he's one of funk's legends. Well, he's also a little imbalanced, or was. And cool story about these holes in the door. Rick liked drugs. I mean, let's call it spade a
commonly
spade.
known.
Yeah, exactly. We're still searching for his secret stash of Quaaludes. But he liked to get his band high. He liked to get his girls high. He liked to get his bouncers high. The only person he didn't like to get high was his drummer, because the drummer is the heartbeat of the band. And the drummer's high, it throws everything off the rails. Well, his drummer got high anyways and came into rehearsal one day, and Rick said to him, "You better get yourself right or I'm going to shoot you dead." And the drummer didn't exactly get himself right, but instead he ran out the door, and that's when Rick pulled out his gun.
As he's running out the door, Rick's shooting at him. with his gun.
Yeah. So we
These
got
are bullets.
a couple of bullets in the door.
Wow.
As far as this actual place, where was Rick James' studio? This rehearsal space was right out here.
So you picture this area walking, basically the dead center of the room. Right across the way is Nikolai Tesla's old studio. He used to do research there, working on alternating current.
So this is where he came up basically with the plans for lighting the city of Buffalo for the Pan Am. This was his workshop?
Yeah, that was his workshop right across the way.
Wow.
This actually used to be originally, when it was the Pierce Arrow Motor Car Company, this was the kitchen area. And I mean, it's safe to say this was Rick's lounge as well when he had the space.
Okay. So the same thing's going on here. I mean, basically we have orbs, shadows.
Yeah, a lot of stuff dancing around.
Now you mentioned earlier that you've had experiences here as well. What's been going on with you?
Well, honestly, a lot of the time you just get a feeling. You just get a feeling when you're walking around, but then in that same token, there's something to be said with those orbs of light. I mean, both catching them on camera and then just when you do a double take when you're walking down a hallway. It's something that you can never pinpoint, and that's kind of why we're bringing you guys in.
Okay, so where are we now, Chris?
Well, this is our main shop for maintenance, but this used to be the old Kittenger woodworking shop.
Kittenger, that's
Yeah.
world famous furniture.
Absolutely.
It's in the Oval Office right now.
Yeah.
That is
it true?
Yeah.
Well, this is where it all began. So this area is actually completely closed off to people who use the space for filming or anything. This is just for people who work in the building, or maintenance people, and the people who rent out the offices.
Okay, yeah. So with the Kittenger, you know, there is a lot of emotion that goes into making these, you know, old handcrafted basic, you know, furnitures. I mean, in my experience with this sort of thing, I mean, people come back to places where they loved in life. And this is a great potential place for us to investigate. We got a little exclusive access back here tonight. And thanks, Chris, for giving us this opportunity here. But you also want to show us another rented out part of the studio that some people had told you that some stuff went down, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
all right, let's head out over there.
This actually used to be a women and children's help center back in the 60s and 70s.
Yep.
So there's a lot of emotional scarring that happened here. And they used this for a horror comedy. They turned this into a doctor's office waiting room, and as we go through, I'll let you know what the other sets are as well. But they definitely saw some things.
Did they go into detail as far as what they were experiencing here when they were filming?
Well, I know one of the production assistants said that they got an eerie feeling in here, but as they moved farther back is really when they started experiencing things tactile. So we see these horrible decor offices.
1970s woodworking.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And originally you said this is a woman and children's
It was a help center, like
health center for battered women and children, maybe people that are homeless or on the streets.
Yep. And this one, the production assistant said she actually saw something move across and towards the door. They
Like
were
a
using
shadow or like a was it?
I want to say it was a shadow, but I can't really tell you for sure. She was in the room after they had finished shooting. They had used this as an operating room, like a surgery, and she was breaking down some pieces of equipment, and she felt something, saw something even move straight out the door. She has no idea what, and she was pretty shaken up, to be honest.
Okay, so out this huge complex building, we have multiple different experiences and interactions that people are having with the paranormal. And really, there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, there's a lot of different layers and a lot of different things that are going on here.
This has been dozens of different businesses for dozens of different purposes, all of which in some way would have some kind of emotional or mental resonance. For any number of reasons, there could still be things here. I guess I want to know more or less when it's from, because we've had like over 100 years worth of history, over dozens of different businesses that were here. God, you know, you see the machinery that they were working with in the factory. I mean, there was a fire in the factory, and I want to know a little bit more about who's here and from when, because it could be from anywhere.
Chris, thanks for giving us a tour of the
Thank you,
Paranormal
guys.
building.
I look forward to some answers.
And we're going to get the team together, and we're going to...
Be back here in a few hours.
Yeah, we're going to see what we can do to get you guys some evidence.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Your old elevators. And,
This is completely random, but at some one time, was there ever a fire in the building?
Not in this building, but the building adjacent, yeah.
Okay.
There was a fire in the factory.
Because that's all, I don't know if you smell, but I just smell like a burning building.
I just smell it. So right, that one right there?
No, this is actually Nikola Tesla's old laboratory. That building over there.
Okay. Several, I'm gonna say at least 3 that comes out. Standoffish, doesn't really want to tell me their names, but it's still early in the night. But for the most part, they belong here. There's nothing that is an outsider. They belong here, they like it here, they want to be here. This is their place. This hallway. You feel it?
Smoke pipe tobacco.
This is totally different feel. But let me ask you a question. Did they house, did they have any like women and children sleeping here until they would place them? Because that's what it feels like, very strong women and children. And I mean in situations of like their husbands beat them and things like that, but it feels like they would almost come here, and I don't know if they would stay here a night before they were taken somewhere else and helped out, but it's so, I don't know if you guys feel it, it's so strong and heavy down here. It's like you just, I hear crying and it's such a different feel down here.
There's definitely a vibration I can feel.
But do you know of anything like that, if they had them stay here?
I don't know many of the specifics. I know that this was sort of a placement center. I know that there was therapies that were done, and it actually extends a ways down the hallway. You can see some of the offices as well.
Just again, the same, it's the whole, this whole area just has that feeling, but it almost feels like, again, whether they would stay here just a minimum of like 24 hours, just to get away from their problems, to come here before being placed. And there's a woman in here. And I believe she used to work here. She worked here for years helping people. And if I had to describe her, she's probably about my height, a little chubbier. She's got like grayish dark hair and she's wearing glasses. And she's here. And I think that she leaves here and she'll walk down that hallway out there. But I think this is where her placement was. This is where she is. So.
Is she here with us right now?
Yes. Did you hear that? Did you hear that bang just like a second? Okay. She,
Do you want to check out the other offices as well?
yeah. And it's just, she's all through here, all through here.
Same woman?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like she's walking on the tour with us.
Nice.
I don't know, I'm getting the name Margaret. Margaret. Very nice woman, very strong woman. Again, this is a place that she worked for years, and this is the place where she helped people, and it's not like she's stuck here, but this is just a place where she did the most.
Yeah.
You getting chills, things like that? Okay.
Not negative.
No, just you know somebody's here with you. Yeah. You know, it's a factory, you know, a lot of it's closed, a lot of areas are not used for working, but it's still very much alive. You still hear the sounds of the people, you can still hear equipment, you can still hear them puttering down here and building things, and that, I think that's the cool part, I really do. So many people here. So many people here.
Everybody's talking.
Everyone's talking. Now, this is the first time that someone's come in to investigate and talk to these people and bring them out?
From what I understand, there's no evidence of us having we didn't bring anybody else in.
Okay, because that's what the feeling I'm getting, like this is the first time to where they have a choice whether they can come out and tell their story or whether they want to be standoffish. So we're kind of at a 50-50 here. They don't really know what to make of it. I think we might get open tonight. Definitely.
Now, John, you're part of the board here for the Pierce Arrow building itself. I mean, you're pretty much the reason why we're going to be able to get the investigation done here tonight. And you've had experiences and seen things on DVR cameras throughout the building yourself, right?
Yeah, I help run the Pierce Arrow Film Arts Center. I sit on the board, and we help kind of manage the facility a little bit. And one experience when I first got involved over 2 years ago down in the basement area that you guys will be seeing later on in your investigation, down towards the end of one of the halls. I was leaving out through the main entrance, and out of the corner of my eye, I could have swore I saw, like a flash shadow figure or some sort of a shadow. And I stopped and I looked down the hall, and I didn't see anything.
The thing I just thought of too is that all the lights throughout the building, they're on in motion.
Yeah, all on motion.
So all in it. So if there's somebody walking around down there, the lights are going to be on. And
Absolutely.
obviously there was no lights on,
No.
so there's no trace of somebody walking around there.
Absolutely.
Unless they were hopping through the halls like James Bond or something.
And all the lights that aren't on motion sensors. I mean, at night you have to turn all of them off. So that's the
So
rule.
that leaves it unexplained.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go down in there.
Now, wait, for note to what you were saying, when you said downstairs with the flash, have had other tenants in
Say
the
that
basement
same
saying just what you described?
Really?
Yeah, quick figure.
Yeah, it's completely unexplainable, and you do when it's dark down there. I mean, in any area when you're dark and alone, I mean, it's a little eerie, but you do kind of get that, like someone's right here.
So as far as for our investigation here tonight, what can we accomplish to leave you guys satisfied with our investigation?
I just, I honestly, the history of this place is so undocumented. I would just love to see what you guys were able to come up with.
Kind of peel back the layers.
Yeah, because you go looking for the history on this place, and it's like it just disappeared. It's almost lost in time.
We're talking about these layers. There's been a lot of incidences of death, and there's been a lot of accidents, like you mentioned, an explosion.
Yes.
And you've mentioned a fire in the factory. We've mentioned this woman that fell down the smokestack and died. There was a story about a homeless guy that was beaten on the property and left on the train tracks.
Yeah, that's okay.
Plus, we're talking about when we were doing the history, Lynn and I, there's a lot of gaps in this story here. I mean, there's a lot of times and parts of this building that are just completely stricken from the record. We couldn't find anything about the fire, but we do know what happened. We couldn't find anything in the record about the explosion, but we do know what happened. I mean, we were there in the building. Jimmy showed part of the team where it blew up in the rubble, and the physical proof is there, but the written and the oral proof is something that's lacking. So
yeah, that's the biggest thing with this place is, like I said, there is nothing known about it. There are so many unknowns, and that's why I wanted you guys to come in, because I know if there's anything going on, like, you guys could probably figure it out.
Hey Dan, check it out.
What does it say?
It's our company logo.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Feeling anybody working in here? Or anybody still?
We did a walk through this earlier. And I heard jingling keys. There was a guy that walks through here with jingling keys.
like the head guy,
Yeah.
or the janitor.
Like the janitor, that's exactly.
The big shot.
That's exactly. In life, it's kind of the same thing as death. He's down here tinkering around. And when he walks, you can hear the jingling of the keys.
Is anybody in here right now? You think we could try to?
Yeah, I think we should try.
All right, let's put the K2 meter down here. See if we can get anybody to come over and speak with us.
Or at least get
I didn't bring my key. Oh, did I bring my key? Oh, yeah. I found some keys, and I wanted to give them back to the rightful owner. Is there anybody down here that I would give some keys to? Perfect. Is there anybody down here working?
Did you hear that?
Sounds like talking.
I thought it was over here. I'm hearing it now. Back there. Like right behind us.
Look, see you there?
Yeah.
Back there?
Yeah.
It smells like yellow. Come closer.
Dude.
We can't hear you. Come closer.
Let him stay over there.
Is there anything above?
No, look at
No,
the,
look
these
at-
are all
yeah.
the windows that go right to the outside.
Remember when we walked by, we saw the little
Yeah.
roofs? This is
So
it.
there's nothing above this. This is just,
If you're here, come forward. What is your name?
Did you hear that?
I did.
Was this Ben or
I
something?
just heard
Was
a
it-
bang back there. Did you hear the clang?
What's that? It's like so.
I heard that.
Is there anybody back there? Knock on the wall. Move something. Say something.
Take the EMF just now.
Are you here with us?
See the camera? I'm getting reds. This is reading as high as you possibly can, and this is right where Rick James' studio was. That's a very, very high,
That's a high reading.
electromagnetic
It is,
field.
Yeah.
Johnny, we're picking up very high readings of electromagnetic field out here. Thanks for joining us out here. Basically, the showroom, we're getting.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's all the way to where it's pinned. I mean you can put this up to a fuse box.
This was right here, was right where the band would play.
For Rick, right?
Rick James's band. This is where they would actually, before even up to about a year ago, you would have seen rubber mat between these four pillars, and there was old walls. This was the old practice area.
Okay. We're going to start a spirit box session right here in the middle of this room, right where the band played.
The meters.
What's up?
The one's going nuts, the other's down, like you asked.
Oh yeah, that one's up, stop. But that one's up constant. Look at that. Leave. It said leave for sure. That's the same woman too. Do you have power over this woman?
Did you work at the Pierce Arrow?
Just by looking at these 2K2 meters reacting this way, I mean, you guys can tell they're on the ground, they're not manipulating them in any way.
This end of the building has absolutely no electric up here. It's all been cut off over here.
The showroom too?
Showroom has some electric. This has
no electric.
There's no electric.
This is very odd. No reason why they shouldn't go off. As far as
They haven't stopped. The really neat aspect of this whole place is huge, and there's just different things everywhere. I think this was actually a women's and children's shelter at one point. So there's got to be a lot of hurts, anxiety, and that they might have been involved in domestic abuse. We don't know. So
And this is that kind of in-between place where they came from, pretty much the worst situations you can think of in here until they can find somewhere to go.
Yeah, we actually heard that they might have even kept them over here for like a 24-hour period before they could find a place for them to go to escape a situation which might have been life-threatening. So, so I think we should check this place out and see. We're gonna start. We should probably do an EMF sweep. Yeah, we can do that. Check out.
Weird reading here.
That was weird.
Are you sure you don't have, do you have your phone?
You don't have your phone on, do you?
I don't have my phone on.
Okay.
Well, that was weird.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay,
my.
so
We're already getting
we have
EMF
something
spikes.
already, yeah.
Is it from this to 10 mgs? So it's not the lights.
No, it's definitely, because it was
This is down here.
yeah, that was something just passing by, and that was pretty strong reading too. So something's here with us already.
Well, actually, our psychic did say that there was a woman possibly named Margaret.
She sensed a woman here.
I don't know, I'm getting the name Margaret. Margaret.
And that she walks out here and through the hallway. She used to work
Maybe
here.
she
so
was-
just doing her rounds.
She could be. She might be out in the hallway. She might just pass by.
Oh,
maybe
she's
that's a
here.
yes.
Look
Is
at
this
that.
Margaret?
All the way to 20 mgs.
Wow.
Hey, Chris. John, good to see you, man. Thanks for meeting us back here.
See you again.
So we asked you guys to meet us here again today because we wanted to show you guys the evidence that we were able to capture while we were investigating here through the night. Okay. Did you work at the Pierce Arrow?
You know what's weird about that? I remember that particular session, but we were always saying like we could hear more
Conversation underneath.
Yeah, conversation going
It just
on,
kept going and
and to
going.
hear it actually broken down, like wow.
Now, when we're talking about peeling back the layers, again, it's not a surprise. Whoever we're talking to, worked in the factory. Where people worked in the factory.
And when you said there is no electricity in this part of the building.
This end of the building has absolutely no electric up here. It's all been cut off over here.
It blew me away because we were getting such high readings all the way up to the red, and it was consistent.
Yeah.
And my first reaction, I didn't say it when we were filming, but I'm thinking, what is he having his jam session right now?
Yeah.
Have the party
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
literally right
Be
here,
kinda
it's
cool.
happening.
Was that in Rick James' studio when you guys got that?
Yeah, that
Literally
was
right in the heart. We set up right in the heart of where.
This is reading as high as you possibly can, and this is right where Rick James' studio was.
And I remember earlier in the night I had asked Amanda, one of your investigators, show me what it looks like when you put an EMF up to a fuse box or a circuit breaker. And I mean, it went up maybe blinking on the yellow light, but
it's
in
constant,
there
too,
we were
it's
hitting
not
like
flickering.
red lights.
we were
Like
hitting
it was,
red
I
lights.
mean,
The opposite. It was, this one, then this one, both, then none, and it just kept
So,
there.
either way, that cannot be left unexplained for us as well.
No, that's
the energy level that's in this room is just not supposed to be there, and the fact that right when we're getting these spikes, there seems to be some sort of communication with somebody who worked in the factory.
Absolutely.
And communicating with him, of course, they feel comfortable because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are here all the
Yeah.
time. So, of course, they're going to answer your question.
And that she walks out here and through the hallway. She used to work
Maybe
here.
she
so
was-
just doing her rounds.
She could be. Oh, maybe that's a yes.
Look at
Is
that.
that Margaret?
All the way to 20 mgs.
Wow.
It was a big spike.
Yeah.
Straight up red line.
It's like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Thanks for noticing.
All right. So, again, we have unexplained extremely high levels of EMF. Basically, right when they're calling this Margaret, that Ashley seemed to pick up, and almost like she's brushing by them, like coming right in the room. All three of those K2 units were reacting.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Well, especially in the 90s. 90s did both of that. The red line and that was crazy.
So, again, that kind of gives a little bit of credence to what Ashley was saying with this Margaret. Because that's obviously reacting to the name Margaret.
You didn't hear that?
It's like we're talking.
I thought it was over here.
Over here,
Back there. Like right behind us.
Wow, that's like crystal clear.
When we're walking into the shop, Dan's shaking his keys around. We get a reaction from what may be, this maintenance man that Ashley's picking up.
Yeah.
And then we get an EVP of somebody that's telling us literally to grab a pencil. So almost like,
That was
grab a
was
tool
super
and
cool.
join
Get busy.
what we're doing here. So it knows we're there, okay, and it's trying to communicate with us to grab a pencil, okay. So there is some sort of intelligence to that sort of scenario, But again, when we're talking about peeling back the layers a little bit, these are a couple layers that unfortunately aren't surprises to anybody.
Right.
If that's exactly what you guys believe is going on there is pretty much what we believe as well. I guess kind of in conclusion, out of all the areas that we investigated, I pretty much can tell you that I do believe that every one of these areas is individually haunted by different spirits or different entities that have different, a different connection to the building. So when we're talking about peeling back these layers and trying to figure out who's here, it's a lot more daunting of a task than we ever could imagine because there's a lot of spirits here.